Welcome back to another class on the voice of Torah. We are in Parashat Bereshit in Perek Aleph, pasuk Aleph, in Ot Aleph in Rashi. In the previous class, we did see Rashi started teaching us that the verse Bereshit bara Elokim et hashema v'et haaretz is not coming to tell you the order of the creation of the world. Today, Rashi is going to go on to say that if you do want to explain that maybe this verse of Bereshit bara Elokim et hashema v'et haaretz is going on the creation of the world, still Rashi is going to go ahead and he's going to disprove that. So we begin. V'im tomar, and if you're going to say שבכל מקום אפשר לפרש את הפסוק כמשמעותו הפשוטה, if you're going to say nevertheless, it is possible to explain the verse like its simple understanding, שכוונתו לסדר הבריאה, that the intention of the verse was to teach you the order of creation. When it says in the Torah, Bereshit bara Elokim et hashema v'et haaretz, it literally means in the beginning Hashem created the heavens and the earth. And what was the first thing that was created in the beginning? The heavens. What was the second thing? The earth. If you want to learn like the way the pasuk states it, v'leharot, and to come and teach, she'elu shamayim v'aretz techila l'chol habor'im nivre'u, that these, the heavens and the earth, were created before all the other creations. Umikra katzarhu, and this verse is a shortened verse. V'yesh lo'osiv lo tevat hakol, and you need to go ahead and add over there the word hakol. Now I just want to try to tell you outside before I start doing it inside. If you pay close attention, I put over here the word hakol. Again, right now we are adding the word hakol into the Torah. Comes the Bi'ur Rashi and tells us like this. Instead of reading it, Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim v'et haaretz, because if I'm going to read it, Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim v'et haaretz, I have a problem. Because the word Bereshit, the tav, is always connected to the word next to it. So what is the word next to Bereshit? Bara. So like we explained before, it had to tell you Bereshit baro. In the previous class we discussed it, I'm not going to go back into it. So since this word Bereshit has to be connected to this word, and that's why we went ahead and we changed the whole understanding of the verse to try to say it's not coming to teach you the order. So now we have a problem. Comes the Biur and he tells you, know what you're going to do in this Rashi? You're going to add in the Torah, if it were possible, Bereshit hakol. Add the word hakol. In the beginning of all, bara Elokim et hashema v'et haaretz. In the beginning of all, Hashem created the heavens and the earth. Now I can say that. Why? Because now the word Bereshit is connected to the word next to it, which is hakol. No problem. Read it like that. Don't read it Bereshit bara, which gives me a problem, which gives me a difficulty, like we explained. But rather read it Bereshit hakol. In the beginning of all, comma, bara Elokim et hashema v'et haaretz. Now everything makes sense. Because this word Bereshit is connected to the word hakol. So in the beginning of all, Hashem created the heavens and the earth. So what was the first thing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created, according to this understanding, was the heavens and the earth. We're going to go ahead and bring 4 examples in the Tanakh, how it is possible where the Torah states something, and it doesn't openly tell you exactly what it's speaking about because it's self-understood. So that's why this word Bereshit hakol, even though it's not in the Torah, but that's how you have to understand it. Right? We'll see these 4 examples, we'll get a better appreciation. So, one more time. V'im tomar, if you're going to say, שמכל מקום אפשר לפרש את הפסוק כמשמעותו הפשוטה, nevertheless it is possible to explain the verse like a simple understanding, שכוונתו לסדר הבריאה, that the kavana is trying to teach you the order of the creation, ולהורות בה, and he came to teach us, שאלו, that these, shamayim v'aretz, the heavens and the earth, תחילה לכל הבירואים נבראו, they were created before all the other creations, Umikr kataru. This verse in the Torah is a shortened verse. It's missing one word. V'yesh lo hosiv lo teva hakol. You have to add to the verse of Bereshit bara, you have to add the word hakol. Like I just explained. V'kach pershu. And this is how you're going to go ahead and you're going to explain now the verse in the Torah. Bereshit hakol. In the beginning of all, bara Hashem et elu. Hashem created these, meaning the heavens and the earth. V'tevet bereshit. Now the word bereshit, nismechad letevet hakol hachasera. It's close to the word hakol, which was missing. Right over here. Bereshit nismecha leteva hakol. The word bereshit is close to the word hakol. Now it's close to it. Even though this word is missing, put it in and learn it like this. Now you're not going to have a problem to tell me that the heavens and the earth were not created first. From here I see that the heavens and the earth were created first. Now we're going to go ahead to Gemara, not the Gemara, Rashi is going to go ahead and he's going to explain to us examples of how the Torah can have sometimes words missing. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to see all these 4 cases. Ve'en letumoa, and don't be surprised. How could it be possible that the Torah is missing one word? How is that possible? How can you even say that the Torah is missing something? The Torah is perfect, correct? Says, don't be surprised. There are many verses in Tanakh where they shorten the verse and the expression, the language of the Torah, and they exclude one word. In a place where it's understood by itself that that is what the verse is referring to, the Torah did not need to go out of its way to go ahead and write that verse. If it's self-understood, why should the Torah go ahead and write it? That's what he's coming to tell us now. Don't be surprised that there's a missing word in the Torah, because there are many verses throughout Tanakh where the verse, the expression is shortened because I can understand. Because I could understand through the pasuk what is it referring to, and therefore there was no need for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to write that word in. It's an extra word. That's what he's trying to tell us over here. So now he's going to go ahead and he's going to give us a few examples. Kimo Shenema, like it says in the pasuk, in Eov, in Perek Gimel pasuk Yud, Ki lo sagar dalte bitni, first verse. Excuse me, guys. The first verse we're going to see, Ki lo sagar dalte bitni, because he did not close the doors of the womb. Now we have to understand what is this going on. So comes the Mefarsh and explains to us. Shekasher ba'u al Eov Yisurin, when suffering Lolinu Chas v'Shalom came upon Eov, kalal et yom hayilodo, he cursed the day that he was born. Al asher be'oto yom, that on that day, lo sagar zeh shebiyechalto lezgor et daltei habeten shememenu nolad, that this was not closed from the one who was able to close the doors of the womb from where he was born. Kedei shelo yivalet, in order for him not to be born, velo piresh mi hasoger, and doesn't tell you the pasuk who's the one who was supposed to close the doors of the womb. Meaning, who was supposed to hold Eov from being born? So when you look at the pasuk, Rabotai, it says, Ki lo sagar dalte bitni. Eov, on the day, or throughout his lifetime, Chas v'Shalom, once he was being beaten with suffering, Loleinu, he started cursing the day that he was born. And he said, if you were able to close the doors, meaning if you were able to close my mother's womb so I shouldn't come out, why did you allow me to come out? If I ask you now, who is Eov speaking about? Who has the capability of closing a mother's womb? Who? Who can make a woman not become pregnant? It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's Hashem only. So comes the Mefarsh and he says, you have to understand, don't be surprised with the word Hakol that I just added over here. Why? Because over here, by Kilo Sagar Dalti Bitni, it doesn't say who Eov is speaking to. It doesn't say what this pasuk is referring to. It doesn't say anything like that. All it says is that because he did not close the doors of the womb. Who's he speaking to? Who's he talking about? It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Did he have to write because Hashem did not close the womb of my mother? No, he didn't have to write. Why? Why didn't he have to write? Very simple reason. Because it's self-understood. And this is the whole thing. When it's self-understood in the Tanakh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not go out of his way to go ahead and write that extra word because it's self-understood. If you could understand that this is self-understood, so to understand that this is self-understood, and if this is self-understood, now when it comes to reading the Torah, Bereshit, Hakol in the beginning of all, Bara Elokim et Hashem the earth. Hashem created the heavens and the earth. That means the first creations were the heaven and the earth, and not like we explained in the previous classes. Continues the Mefarsh to explain us the second case. Ukmo, and for example, and like Yisa et Chel Demesek, he's going to carry the wealth of Demesek towards the place. He says this is in Yeshaya in Perek Chet pasuk Dalet. Shebe'et, you have to understand, Yeshaya was giving this prophecy. This was going to befall the Jewish people. Shebe'et nefila Demeshek lifnei Ashur, that at the time when Demeshek was going to fall before the country of Ashur, Yisah nosed kol nichesei Demeshek and Melech Ashur, the one who's going to carry all the assets, all the wealth of Demeshek, to the king of Ashur. V'lo piresh mi yeseenu, and he didn't explain who's going to carry all the wealth. Where does it say that who's going to carry what? It doesn't say. All it says, all Yeshaya said to the Jewish people, that the way you guys are behaving now, this is the beginning of your downfall. That you guys are going to fall to such an extent where he's going to carry the wealth of Demeshek. Who is he? What? Where? Who is this verse speaking about? It is speaking about Melech Ashur, speaking about the king of Ashur, and his soldiers are going to go ahead and they're going to bring everything from Demeshek to Ashur. Now, did the Torah have to write it? That they're going to carry all the wealth from Demeshek to Ashur? Who's the they? The soldiers. Simple logic. That's all. That's all this. The Mefarsh telling us right now. That's what we want to see. Again, it's missing. I'm adding a word. Good, you understand this, and it does exist in the Torah. Understand this, that it also exists in the Torah. Next verse. Ukmo, and like, im yachrosh bebikarim. In Amos, in Perek Vav and pasuk Yud Bet, says if you're going to go ahead and you're going to plow with cattle, ha'im yachol adam l'shanot gidrei ha'olam v'lechrosh im bakar besel ha'kasher. This also, Rabotai, was not good news for the Jewish people. He's saying what? Can you guys go ahead and plow with cattle? Meaning, can you go ahead and change the nature of the world and start plowing with cattle on a hard rock? Over there, Rabotai, in Amos, it speaks about over there how the Jewish people, they went ahead when they took justice, which was such a good thing, and they started doing crooked things with it. The party which was guilty, they made innocent. The party which is innocent, they made guilty. Basically, they corrupted the justice system. They used it to their own advantage. You have corrupt judges. That's what the Jews started doing. So came a Moses, and Moses telling him, I don't get it. If you look into the whole pasuk, he speaks about over there. Can a horse run on rocks? Probably can walk, but it can't run at a very high speed. Can cattle plow through big rocks? No, it cannot. So if they cannot do these things, why are you guys corrupting the justice system? That was what Amos was telling the Jewish people. Im yachrosh b'bekarim, what? Can you go ahead and is it possible for you to go ahead and plow with cattle through a rock and change the nature? You can't do that. Velo peresh im yachrosh adam b'bekarim v'cheser tevat adam. It didn't explain that if a person is going to plow with cattle and it's missing the word adam. Again, pay close attention. Now up to verse number 3. Im yachrosh b'bekarim. If you're going to go ahead and plow with, if you're going to go ahead and you're going to plow with cattle, why didn't you write im yachrosh adam b'bekarim? Why didn't you write if a person is going to plow with cattle? Because it's self-understood. When I say that I can't plow through rocks with cattle, it is going on people. So to me, Rabotai, he didn't have to write the word Adam. Im yachrosh b'bekarim, are you able to go ahead and plow through rocks with cattle? It's referring to men plowing the rocks with cattle. So just like over here you're missing a word, and the verse in Tanakh, it went ahead and it shortened the expression. You like it, you understand this also. Next case, last example. Ukomo magid mereshit acharit. In Isha and Perek Mevav and pasuk Yud, over there it says, Kvar mereshit adavar, already from the beginning of a thing, magid HaKadosh Baruch Hu ma sheyeh ba'achrito. Hashem already says what's going to be in the end of that thing. Rabotai, can you imagine? From the beginning of something, HaKadosh Baruch Hu already knows that the end of that thing. So somebody asked me one time, Rabbi, how can I thought we have free choice. How can Hashem know everything? Rabotai, you don't understand. You don't have to be a genius to answer this question. You know, you have, let's say like this. Let's say you have 3D view. You're on top and you're watching the people on the bottom. Now you know that there's two paths. One path leads into the highway. One path leads into the ocean. Tell me, is it so hard for you to make that decision or to make that call and say that if the guy enters the left, he's going to go to the highway. If the guy enters the right, he's going to go into the ocean. No, it's not. Say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Rabotai, people don't understand. I thought we have free choice. You do have free choice, but when you make that choice, HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows where you're going to end up. If you don't have someone that's going to interfere with you, or somebody that's going to help you to do teshuvah, if you made the wrong decision, if you decided to go to a club or party and do something wrong, Rabotai, you know good things are not going to come out of it. So that's why once a person makes that choice, Hashem already knows what's going to be in the end. Yeah, until you're going to find out, it's going to take you another 5, 10 years before you're going to become a rotten person that's going to be sleeping with women and doing drugs. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew that already 10 years ago. Why? When you made that decision to have bad friends. That's all. Or the other way around. A person decides to go learn Torah, Hashem already sees 20 years down the line that this person is going to become a Talmid Chacham. It's all about making the decision. You make the right decision, your end is going to be good. You're going to make the wrong decision, your end is going to be bad. There was one person we had speaking our shul a few months ago. He said that when NASA, when they wanted to fly up into space, they spent millions of dollars only on advertisement alone. I'm not speaking about to fly up, just to get the camera people there. When they came for takeoff, the main guy that was supposed to press the button that it should take off, he looked. He came close to the rocket and he looked. And he didn't like something. He canceled the whole thing. He canceled the whole thing. He said, no, we're not flying into space. We're not doing nothing. Everything stays the way it is. So one of the people came up to him, are you out of your mind? Look how many TV broadcasters are here. Look how many people came. People spend millions of dollars just to see this go into space. And now you're telling us he cannot go? He says, look, I see what you can see. He says, what is that? He says, I see that it's not even, it's like a hairbreadth off from being straight. So the guy says, big deal, I can't even see that it's a hair. Big deal, how much is a hairbreadth going to affect this rocket ship, or rocket space, whatever this is called? Rabotai, you know what the guy told him? He says, that's the problem. That's the difference between me and you. He says, because I know that this, a hair's breadth, when it reaches into the space, it's not going to end up where we want it to end up. It's going to end up on the other side of the world, and that we don't want. Same thing with us, Rabotai. We think our decisions don't play a role in our life. Little do we know that every decision that we make, even the smallest one, that is like the size of the hair, one hair, just to tilt this way, you should know 30 years down the line, that decision actually went ahead and it paved your future for you. Had you not made that decision, Rabotai, your life would have been on the other end. That's what, Rabotai, we're going to get back into this, but people shouldn't be surprised. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows everything from the beginning of creation till the end of the Hashem knows everything. So where's our free choice? Yes, it's a choice. If you make the right decision, you make the wrong decision. When you make the right decision, Hashem already knows who you're going to be. When you make the wrong decision, Hashem knows who you're going to be. That's it. Yeah, you make the decision, but the outcome is in the hands of Hashem. Now, Rabotai, let's get back into here. What happened over here? Magid mereshit acharit. He didn't say Hashem. He didn't say David. He didn't say nothing. All it says, he's going to say from the beginning of the thing what's going to be the end of that thing. Who, what, where. So that's again, Rabotai, if you could understand this, that the expression is shortened and it's missing a word and it's good, it's simple to understand that this is also fine. So let's just see this piece one more time inside. For example, gives us another verse in Amos in Perek Vav pasuk Yud, where he says from the beginning what's going to be the end. Right? Already from the beginning of the thing. I don't have the word hadavar over here. Mireshit hadavar, right? I don't have mireshit hadavar. I have mireshit, but it doesn't say hadavar. Mireshit hadavar. V'lo piresh, and it did not explain. Magid mireshit hadavar, and did not explain that he's going to say at the beginning of the thing. Achari davar. He didn't say that in the beginning of the thing. He's going to tell you the end of the thing. V'cheser tevet davar, and it's missing the word davar. Should it really be like this? Magid mireshit davar. Achari davar. That Hashem says that from the beginning of the thing, which is not here, the end of that thing, which is not here. Because when I'm telling you that HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows from the beginning that Hashem knows that in the beginning what's going to happen in the end, we're speaking about things. Simple. Rabotai, it's self-understood. Now, so that's why up to now we see all these examples. Ki lo sagar dalte betni, yisa et chel demeshek, im yachrosh bebekarim, magid mereshit acharit. In all of these four cases, we see that the expression is shortened, and what there is a word that is missing, and still the Tanakh writes it, still is brought down. Good. Understanding the Torah also, when it says Bereshit, bara, you gotta understand that over there has to be the word Hakol, and read it Bereshit Hakol, in the beginning of all. Bara, looking at the earth, that Hashem created the heavens and the earth. Understand, this is what the Torah is coming to teach us, that the beginning of creation was really the heavens and the earth. So he continues to say this. And if so, if you could understand all of these cases, Afkan l'chor, and so it's over here, seemingly, yesh lefaresh, we can explain, shehu mikre katzar, that this verse in the Torah, when it says Bereshit bara Elokim et Hashem et haaretz, the verse, the expression is shortened, and it's missing one word, uki'ilu ne'emar, as if it says, Bereshit hakol, that in the beginning of all, bara Hashem et Hashem et haaretz, that in the beginning of all, Hashem created the heavens and the earth. That is the way you have to go ahead and learn this verse in the Torah. Now, Rabotai, before we start attacking this logic, let me just try to say it outside. When we saw in the previous classes that the verse Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim et haaretz is not coming to teach you the order of the creation, today we want to see that possibly it is teaching you the order of the creation. But rather what? It was just missing a word. But how could it be? How can you miss a word? No problem. You have throughout Tanakh where there are words that are missing and still the Torah writes it. Same thing over here. The Torah missed, not that it missed, it took out the word hakol because it's self-understood. That's what you have to put in.